Welcome back to the Hero Arts YouTube channel. This is the introduction video for the My Monthly Hero Kit for April 2022. In this month's kit, you will be receiving a 3x4 clear stamp set, 3 6x6 color layering stencils, a 6x6 cling background stamp, 3 ink cubes in the colors Rose Madder, Green Apple, and Cotton Candy. You're also receiving some frame cuts, a word fancy die, and some spring enamel dots. Here is a closer look at the color layering stencils that are in the kit. This is a look at how they are individual and what they would be layered up with the background stamp to create beautiful backgrounds. The 3x4 stamp set can be used individually or in coordination with the word fancy die included in the kit. You have things like thank you for being an, and you could add amazing teacher, amazing mother, amazing daughter, and there's also things like just a little note. This is a look at the amazing word fancy die and shadow die. And here are the frame cuts that are designed to cut out a couple images and a little bee from that background stamp. I went ahead and die cut out that word amazing with the shadow die just to show you what it would look like layered up together. Now I'm going to show you how to use the background stamp with the color layering stencil and some tips and tricks along the way. So if you are going to just stamp this down onto your background, you are going to need to make sure that the ink is completely dry before you start ink blending on it. Otherwise, your black ink will smear. A few ways to do that is either stamp it the night before and leave it sit overnight. I like to use my laminator and run it through with the parchment paper a few times to help make sure that that is dry. You could use a heat tool, or you could sprinkle on some clear embossing powder and heat set that, and that would definitely protect your image and your ink so it doesn't smear. Now, also included in the kit, which I forgot to mention earlier, is a blending brush. I will be using my larger blending brush to do this. On the first layer of the stencil, which is the most open areas of the stencil, and I believe they're also numbered at the bottom of the stencil as well, but there are little registration marks in each of the corners that you can ink over to help you align these up perfectly each time. In my case, I did not use those registration marks because I felt this was very easy to line up. So that first layer, which is the most open of the flower, I used cotton candy. I'm lining up the second layer of the stencil, which is going to add some details to our flowers, and this is using the Rose Madder. Now, this is a good example of where I did not let my ink dry good enough because it is tinting that pink a little bit. You'll see it's got a little bit of a dark hue to it, so it still worked out, but you just want to really make sure that that ink is dry before ink blending on top. Now, the third layer is adding with our green apple ink and a blending brush and going over all of the leaves over that stencil background. When stenciling, you want to make sure you're using circular motions. That's the easiest way to apply ink, and also change your direction which way you're blending the color on. That way it's getting the full coverage of the stenciled area. The stencil does not include anything to color the bees, but these can be quickly colored in with your favorite coloring medium. I happen to be using some Copic markers, but you could use colored pencils, maybe your Zig markers, or anything you prefer to add just a little bit of color to those bees. I have a yellow for the body and a light blue for the wings. Now you can either use this background as your card front, cut it apart, or use the coordinating dies to cut out one of the stem flowers, this bigger floral image, and then also one of the bees. And you can create an arrangement on your card using these die cut pieces. Now, while you can use the colors included in the kit to create these beautiful flowers for your background, you can also bring in other colors and create a rainbow background like I did here. Now, here's a look at some of the projects the creative team did with this kit. You can use those die cut pieces individually to make an arrangement on the front of your card. There is a variety of ink blending color choices, so if you have some colors in your stash that you want to try out, this is a great time to apply those. You can do heat embossing and also watercolor the image, or use the inks that are in the kit. Cards, tags, any type of project. You could also create your own pattern paper and maybe create some gift boxes out of that. These kits are in limited quantity, which means once they are sold out, they are gone and are not restocked. So if you are not already a subscriber of the My Monthly Hero Kits, it is a great time to sign up, which guarantees you will never miss another kit. We are also celebrating the release of the kit with a blog hop filled with inspiration from our creative team and creative friends. You can find all of this and more over on the Hero Arts website at heroarts.com.